Ruth chapter 3, starting from verse 12. And now it is true that I am your near kinsman. However, there is a kinsman nearer than I. All right, so here's the story so far. Ruth, the Moabitess, the curse from the cursed land of Moab, is now come to Boaz. All right? So Boaz is closely related to Ruth. And as we saw last week, under the law, there is an obligation for the brother or the close relative to redeem the widow. All right? Because Ruth was a widow. So Ruth came to Boaz. We all knew that from last week. And Boaz covered her with his skirt, with his clothing. And we all know that that was a symbol of Christ covering us with his garment. All right? Remember, I told you, if you go by your own works, that means you say, I'm so good, and you try to cover yourself with your own works, some part of you will always be exposed. Remember, it was short bed, narrow coverings. So if you are, like I said last time, if you're a very tall person and you sleep in a short bed, what is exposed? Come on, you don't have to, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to imagine this, all right? Your feet will be hanging out, so your feet are all exposed. And if you put in your feet and you curl up, then some of your knees will be exposed. Because somewhere the bed is a very small bed and you're a very big person. All right? Or think about you, they give you a little baby blanket. And you are a big guy. So you cover the baby blanket, you pull it up on your face, everything below is exposed. You pull it down, then all your top part is exposed. So that's what it means when the Bible says, when you cover yourself with the law, you say, well, I'm so good, so I'm going to use my goodness to cover myself. It doesn't work. You cover the top, your bottom is exposed. You cover the right-hand side, your left side is exposed. So some part of you is always wrong. But when Jesus covers you, he covers you completely and perfectly. So nothing of you is exposed. So you are perfect because Jesus covers you perfectly. All right? So Boaz covered Ruth. But then he makes this statement. So now we are introduced to another person. He says, yes, I am your close relative. But there is another person who is closer. And the one who is closer has the first right to take you. Just when Ruth thought she was covered by Boaz, there's another person closer. Next verse. Verse 13. All right, so now we continue with the story, remember? So he says, tarry this night. Boaz says to Ruth, look, stay here tonight. It shall be in the morning that if, now he's talking about the other person, if he will perform unto you. So if this closer relative will perform to you the part of a kinsman. So if he does that for you, well, let him do the kinsman part. That is, under the law, that's what that person has to do. But if he will not do it, that means that person who is closer than me, Boaz, that person who is closer to you, Ruth, I'm Boaz, but I'm not so close to you. There's another person closer to you who has the right to marry you first. If he does it, well, that's great. But if he will not do it, he will not do the part of a kinsman to you, then I will do it. Okay? So there's somebody who is before Boaz. As the Lord lives, now lie down here until the morning. Okay, let's move on with the story. And she lay at his feet until the morning. She rose up before one could know another, so she rose up very early. And he said, let it not be known that a woman came into the floor. So he's protecting her already. Verse 15. bring the veil that you have upon you, hold it. And when she held it, he measured 6 measures of barley and laid it upon that cloth, the veil, and she went into the city. All right? Now, so this is Ruth living in the morning. All right? So she had a veil on. She says, okay, Boaz says, look, put out your veil on the floor, and I'm going to put in 6 measures of barley, because he was in the harvest floor, all right? Lots of grain around. So he's going to give her 6 measures of barley. Now, every time you see this sort of things in the Bible, I've told you many times before, the Bible doesn't just put in words just to make the Bible thicker. All right? That means, hey, let's make the Bible as thick as possible. So let's just add in additional information. Just, like hey, you're writing a novel. All right? Then you look at Leo Tolstoy, War and Peace. Wow, War and Peace is this thick. So you say, well, I'm going to add in more words into my novel so I can make it a little bit thicker. Otherwise, it looks too thin. No, the Bible doesn't do that. When the Bible says things, it says it for a purpose. All right? So when he says he measured 6 measures of barley, 6 measures of barley is enough food for a couple of months. But look at the word 6 here. Why 6 measures of barley? Why not 5? Why not 7? Why not some other number? You see, the number 6 in the Bible stands for man. All right? It's man. So in this story, it was a man that provided for Ruth. So the man can only provide for you 6 measures of barley. You can have enough provision for 2 months. All right? That's what man can do for you. So if you trust in man, man will provide you for a season, for a period of time. In this case, 2 months. But the 7th measure, 7 stands for perfection. Who do you think is the one who can provide you perfectly? Jesus. So, of course, the 7th is going to be Boaz himself. That's why Boaz doesn't give her 7 measures of barley. Because if Boaz gives her 7, it's perfect. So the Bible is very consistent. Man, in this case Boaz, okay, because Boaz is a man, but at the same time is the symbol of Jesus. All right? So as the man, Boaz, he will only provide 6 measures. But the 7th measure will be, he will provide fully for Ruth. So the 7th is himself. So for us, the 7th is Jesus himself. So if we work in the world, we will get our 6 measures of barley from the world, from the corporation, from the company. Men will provide. But men will provide only for a period of time, not forever. But the 7th, the perfect one, will be Jesus, because only Jesus will provide you forever. For the rest of your life, you will be provided for, because that is the 7th person. All right? And the Bible is very consistent about this. And you say, well, maybe it's the only part here. Do you remember the woman at the well? She had 5 husbands, and then she was staying with a man who was not her husband. So what is 5 plus 1? 6. So you see, the woman at the well, she was, I need help, so she went and married somebody. And she needed help again, so she married somebody. She needed help, married again somebody. Man after man, but no man can satisfy. In the sense of providing for her and taking care of her. And now she's with the 6 who still don't satisfy. See, why does the Bible give you 5 plus 1? 6. Because man cannot satisfy her. At the end, it's the 7th man, Jesus, who would fulfill everything for her. So similarly here, all right? So 6 measures of barley. provision given by man will last her. But the seventh portion will be the perfect portion because Boaz, symbol of Jesus, will provide for her, and Boaz will provide for her whole life. Because that was how rich Boaz was. So you do not just get 2 months' supply, you get a lifetime supply. All right? So let's move on and read on. So she now went into the city with her 6 measures of barley. So she came to her mother-in-law, Naomi. Remember, Naomi operates by worldly standards, all right? She says to Ruth, remember last week? Look, go get Boaz. How do you get Boaz? How do you get the man? Well, first of all, you wait. He's got to eat and drink first, and then you approach Boaz. And she said to Ruth, well, first of all, you got to take a shower, make yourself real clean, and then you put on the perfumes, and then you do your hair, you do your face, you really doll yourself up so that you can be attractive to Boaz. Not knowing that Boaz already loved Ruth. Do you see how that thing works? You try to make yourself all nice, and the man already loved you, so you don't really have to do all of these things. But Naomi was from the world, and she really didn't know God very well at all. She knew about God, but she didn't know God personally. So she came to her mother-in-law, okay, now with the food. She said, "Who art thou, my daughter? I cannot recognize you." And she told her all that the man had done for her. It's not about Ruth doing things for Boaz. Who did for who? The man had done for her what Boaz did for Ruth, what Jesus did for us. You see, many times we get confused. We say, what did we do for Jesus? Am I correct? Because that's the way we are taught, that's the way we think. Well, what did I do for Jesus today? What did I do for Jesus this morning? That's what we were taught. Well, why don't you think the other way? What did Jesus did for you? Wow, there's a whole lot of different thinking there. What did Jesus did for me? Wow, the list is very long. What he did for me this morning. What he did for me last week. What he did for me in the coming months. Everything Jesus did for us. Ruth told Naomi, all that Boaz had done for her. It was about Boaz doing for her, not about Ruth doing for Boaz. All right, let's read on. Next verse. And she said, all right, these 6 measures of barley he gave to me. All right, as a man, that's what he gave to me. For he said to me, do not go empty to your mother-in-law. No, you go with food in this time of famine. Okay, now here comes Naomi. Naomi seeing the blessings now, all right? She starts to see who Boaz is, all right? What Boaz can do. In a sense, she starts to see God for the first time. Look at what she says to Ruth. Sit still, my daughter. Did she ask Ruth, go back now? Now is the time. Strike while the iron is hot. Boaz gave you all of this. He must love you. Go back right now. Change your clothes, put on your new perfume. Switch, bathe again. Go back right now. No. Naomi said, sit still. And this is something very hard for people to do. This is you sitting and just trusting that he, Boaz, or in our case, Jesus, will do it for us. Let me repeat that. This is very hard for us to do because we like to rush about, right? We like to do this, we like to do that, we like to say, yeah, this is the time, this is the opportunity. Naomi said now, sit still, my daughter. Just sit. Still. Not just sit and fidget. Sit still. Stay calm, my daughter, until you know how the matter will fall. For, okay, here because there's the reason, because she gave the reason. For the man, who's the man? Boaz. For the man will not be in rest until he has finished the thing to this day. You see, when you sit there, it doesn't mean that things are not moving. It doesn't mean that the work is not done because you are sitting there. Because somebody else is doing the work. In this case, Ruth, you sit there. Boaz is doing the work. Boaz is going to do what he wants to do. For us, sit still. Jesus is actively at work right now in your life. You may be worried about certain things. Sit still. You say, well, I'm worried about that person. Well, I'm worried about that financial situation. Well, I'm worried about my health. I'm worried about what the future will be. Sit still. Be still. And know that, come on, that I am God. Sit still. Because somebody is working right now for you. That somebody loves you because that somebody looks at you as a son and as a daughter. That somebody is working very hard. Actually, he already finished the work for you. Looking to Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith. He started it. He's going to finish everything in your life. He's going to do it all for you. Your job is to sit still. Think about that. Your job, Ruth's job also, is to sit still because somewhere you have to trust God. There are certain things, yes, you can do. You see, Ruth can go out and do things too. Ruth can say, I cannot trust Boaz. You know, what happens if Boaz rejects me? Boaz has got many. Boaz is a rich man. How about all these nice, beautiful Jewish girls? Don't forget, Ruth is not a Jewish girl. She doesn't look the same. Her skin is a little bit different. They are related to the Jews, but not exactly the same. You know, Boaz could do something in the meantime. But Naomi said, sit still. Sit and just receive. Just trust that God will do it for you. Rest in Jesus. Sit back and rest and say, Jesus, I trust you that you, the man, now Jesus, will not be at rest until he has finished the thing. And who finished the work? Jesus. Jesus finished the work. He actually finished it for you, and he actually finished it for me. So all your rushing around, all your trying and trying and trying, sometimes amounts to not very much. You see, Ruth can rush around, but it doesn't amount to much. Let Boaz do his work. Let Jesus do his work. Let God work in your family. Let God work in your marriage. Let God work in your hearts. And you just rest in it and you say, thank you, Father. You are God of everything. You are Lord of all. That's the song we sang, right? Lord of all. You are Lord. So therefore, you know what's going to happen. And because it's God, it's all good. You see, there's no badness in God. God says, I'm a good God. There's nothing bad in God. So everything that He has for you, as you sit there, is good. So He'll come up to you, Harvey, and He says, here is for you, for the next season of your life. And you look at it and say, man, it's all good. Everything inside is good. Nothing bad at all. And you just sit and you receive it. How about that? Resting in God. All right, just a little bit more. Chapter 4. Let's start from verse 1. All right? Then went Boaz up to the gate. All right, so this is Boaz working, right? Where's Ruth? Sitting. Sitting at home. Hey, I'm going to trust Boaz. Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat himself down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spoke came by. Aha, now we get to see the other person. No names, but you're going to see who he is. Okay, let's get this down first. Then went Boaz up to the gate. A couple of weeks ago, I remember I told you about the gate. The gate, every time you see gate in the Bible, gates are the place where people are judged. There's judgment at the gate. All right? So, whenever you see gates in the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, you know that's where people are judged. That means certain decisions, certain decisions will be pronounced. That's judgment at the gates. That is why Jesus is the door. Do you get it? Jesus is the door in the New Testament. Jesus says, I am the gate or the door? I am the door. All those who come in, you see, the door is open. The gate is a place of judgment. So it's very clear, the moment you see gate, you see that certain things are being judged. And in this case, Boaz went up to the gate, not door. Because if it's a door, now there's no judgment. So Boaz went up to the gate, sat down, and behold, look, the kinsman of whom Boaz spoke came by. The other guy who was closer, the other guy who was a closer relative now shows up. Unto whom he says, ho, 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 ho. Ho, such a one. Turn aside, sit down here. Come, sit down here. He turned aside, sat down. All right, so now we're having two people sitting down facing one another. Next verse, please. Now, this is the other guy, all right? He's nameless. But look, the other guy, not Boaz, okay, Boaz showed up by himself. The other guy took 10 men of the elders of the city. Yes, 10. What does that remind you of? The law. Okay? 10 always is about the law. Remember the 10 commandments? The 10 of this? 10 is always a test of the law. So this man came with 10 other elders and said, sit you down. And they all sat down. So you see, what's happening here is this. This guy who is unnamed, think about it, unnamed, he has a closer relationship than Boaz to Ruth. And now comes the judgment. What do you think the judgment is? Let's read. he said to the kinsman, Naomi that is come again out of the country of Moab, so sells a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech. All right, so now Boaz is talking to the other guy. Naomi, you know, that relative of ours, is going to sell a piece of land. You are next of kin to her. You're very close to her. So, do you want to buy the piece of land? Let's read. And I thought to advertise to you, saying, buy it before the inhabitants. You buy it, because you are closer to Naomi. And before the elders of my people, if you will redeem it, redeem it. All right? And under the law, all right, let's turn there. Leviticus 25, verse 25. Okay? Leviticus 25, 25. This is the law. If your brother became very poor, all right, and has sold away some of his possession, let's say his land, and if any of his kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. Very simple. You are the close relative. He sold the land, you redeem the land for him. Okay, now let's get back to that elder. So the elder plus, that man plus 10 elders was told, you buy the land. Naomi has no money. The land is gone. So you, being the closest relative, the closest to Naomi, you buy the land. Okay? Now think about it. The law says you are supposed to do it. So the man says, then tell me that I may know, for there is none to redeem it besides you, and I am after you. So you come first, then Boaz comes second, all right, to redeem the land. And the man said, that's the unnamed man, I will redeem it. The land, according to the law, I will buy it back. I will buy the land back. Because of the law. Next verse. Then said Boaz, the day you buy the field of the hand of Naomi, the day you buy that piece of land, okay, here comes the next thing. You must buy it also of Ruth. You must also redeem Ruth. You buy the land, yes. So, okay, let's get this straight. Okay, so Boaz is talking to that man who is a closer relative to Naomi. So Boaz says to the man, you want to buy the land? You have to buy the land, right? And the man says, okay, I will buy the land. And then Boaz said some more, okay, you buy the land, but at the same time, you must redeem Ruth as well. Because that's what it says. You redeem that person, the widow. The wife of the dead, she's a widow. To raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. That was the law which we read last time. All right? Let's see the response. And the kinsman, the other unnamed guy, says, come on. I cannot. Land, yes. Ruth, no. You see, this man who is very close, the next closest, who has the right to do all of this and has to do it under the law, represents the law. You see, the law in that time, right? Everybody, every person born, you see, they were all under the law. So the law is very close to the person. The law, is very close to the person. Because you're born and you come under the law. Everybody falls under it. You come under rules and regulations. But what is the purpose of the law, you see? Why can't this man redeem Ruth? Why doesn't he say, okay, I'll do it? He cannot redeem Ruth. You see, it's not about Naomi. Remember, this person is very close to Naomi. Under the law, this person is supposed to marry Naomi, who's also a widow. Remember, I told you there are two widows in this story, besides Orpah, who left, all right? There are two widows in this story. There's Naomi and there's Ruth. If it's about Naomi, Naomi is a Jew. Yes. Ruth, no. Why? Because Ruth is a Moabitess. You see, the law cannot redeem what it is not set out to do. It's not set out to redeem anything. The purpose of the law, as you all know very well, all right? The purpose of the law is to show you your sin. Is to show you the law. This is the law. Look, you do not meet the law, so you do not qualify. You are unclean. You are no good. You are not good. So you do not qualify. All right? So that is the purpose of the law. The purpose of the law is to show you that you do not qualify. You are not good enough. So that's what the law is showing Ruth. Ruth, you are from the land of Moab. You do not qualify. That's why the law, which is this man, says, I cannot redeem you, Ruth. I cannot do it because I'm here to show you how bad you are. I'm here to show you that you are cursed. I'm here to show you that you, Ruth, are not good enough. You do not qualify. Therefore, I cannot redeem Ruth for myself. The land? Land, yes. Ruth, the person? No. Look what it says here. Lest I harm my own inheritance. What is the inheritance of the law? The law, the objective of the law, its inheritance is to show you sin, show you your badness. I cannot redeem it because that's not my purpose. I didn't come here to redeem Ruth. I came here to redeem the land. Yes, I'll take the land. But I have to judge Ruth. Because here's the gates, here are the 10 elders, I'm the law, I'm here to judge you. You are not good enough. So now, I cannot do it. So the law turns to Boaz. You redeem my right. So I had the first right. But my right is to condemn her. But Boaz, you redeem my right, for I cannot redeem her. So this unnamed person took off his shoe. Remember the shoe? Shoe loose and spit face, all right? From last week, all right? So he takes off his shoe and he gives to Boaz. Let's read from the next verse. Let's see what it says here. Now, this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing. For to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor, and this was a testimony in Israel. All right? So we read the law about this last time. So he took off his shoe and he gave to Boaz. You see, once again, the law shows you your sin. So the man points out how bad Ruth is. But the law is not the final authority. The shoe was passed on. Who got the shoe down? Boaz. who is representative of Jesus. Jesus got your shoes. The shoes from the law, all right? When the law will condemn you and want to kill you and say how bad you are, Jesus took all of that and he says, I have the right. I have the right. And I'm going to redeem Ruth and every one of you here. Every one of you, I'm going to redeem. That means I will pay the price to buy you back, to buy you back, to buy you back, to buy you back. I will buy you back. The law will not, but I will do it. And that's what grace is all about. You see, we haven't finished the story yet, but that is what is going on here. If you do not see Jesus here, then this is just a story which has no meaning. They are talking something, one agrees, one don't agree. Well, who cares? But the moment you see Jesus, you can see that the law, which could not redeem you, was passed over to grace. So you see, unclean to clean, unloved to love, no husband to being married, childless to having children. Law became grace. Everything changed because Boaz redeemed Ruth. For every one of us here, whatever happened in your life, all right, like I said, as I told you at the start, whatever you went through in your childhood or along your life, many things happen. For me, for yourself as well. Difficult things, things not good at all. But the moment Jesus redeems you, everything is restored. Bad, everything bad, terrible, gets restored. All of those things cut off. And he starts to bless you. And he starts to provide for you. And he starts to protect you. That is Jesus. His name is Jesus. Amen?